I found out who the Kardashians' surgeon was, right? And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get me a booty. So I was like, I'm gonna go to California. I'm gonna get this procedure. In the air, flying to LA, I hear the Holy Spirit say, if I wanted you to have a booty, I would have given you a booty. I did not give you a booty to keep you humble. Ooh. Now, I hear the Holy Spirit say that, right? Clear as day. I should have parachuted out of the plane, right? I should have saved my money. And when I tell you I could have bought a car, okay, I'm not exaggerating. So
with the money that it was going to cost to get a booty.
Listen.
You could have got a Bentley for the price of a booty.
It may not have been a Bentley, but it could have at least been a really nice Honda Accord or something. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So here I am. I hear the Holy Spirit. And I'm like, you know what, Lord? I'm going to be humble with a booty.
Never heard somebody say my dad had the booty.
My dad had the booty. But I ended up with my mom's booty and my dad's chest. Right? So just flat all the way around.
Okay.
Flat all the way around. And so when we talk about this thing about rejection, I would get made fun of constantly for having no booty. You know, I mean, I'm a black woman. Like a black woman has curves. I don't need you to agree like that, though. You see the way.
No, I was saying yes. I was saying yes to. I can see why.
Okay. Yeah. No, the way you. Agreed.
I got in trouble for nodding my head once other time in my life too. I just be nodding.
But it's true. It's true. Like black women have curves. Well, yeah, I didn't.
Okay.
And so not only did I not have curves, let me put it this way: I had curves in the wrong places. Like I had curves in my belly, and I always would say, I was like, if I could just like push my belly to the back. Then I would be good. But anyway, it didn't work. I'm in shape, but I have no curves still. And so I found out who the Kardashians' surgeon was, right? And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get me a booty. Now, mind you, I had been doing the squats, Bulgarian split squats, the barbell squat. Like I've been doing the squats, squat, nothing.
So they lying? The trainers are lying?
I think you have to have something to work with.
Oh.
I had flesh and bone.
I'm not listening to any of these trainers anymore. I see y'all online.
I had flesh and bone. Like you can't make flesh and bone. Anyway, so I was like, I'm gonna go to California. I'm gonna get this procedure. In the air, flying to LA, I hear the Holy Spirit say, if I wanted you to have a booty, I would have given you a booty. I did not give you a booty to keep you humble. Ooh. Now, I hear the Holy Spirit say that, right? Clear as day. I should have parachuted out of the plane, right? I should have saved my money. And when I tell you I could have bought a car, okay, I'm not exaggerating. So
with the money that it was going to cost to get a booty.
Listen.
You could have got a Bentley for the price of a booty.
It may not have been a Bentley, but it could have at least been a really nice Honda Accord or something.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So here I am. I hear the Holy Spirit. And I'm like, you know what, Lord? I'm going to be humble with a booty. So I get to
this is crazy.
I get to the doctor's office. And the doctor tells me, he says, listen, it's a fat transfer procedure. And so he said, I know you work out a lot. He said, you're going to have to not work out as much because it will basically burn the fat. And I'm hearing him say this and I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I'm still going to work out because I'm not going to have a booty and be unhealthy, right?
Yeah.
So get the procedure. Everything's great. I'm like, all right. We in there, right? So as soon as I can start working out again, I start working out.
Pause. I'm learning.
So I start running because I'm like, look, I the thing I'm not gonna do, and this is what I had to do. I had to gain 10 pounds to get the procedure because he needed the fat to work with, right? So I was like, I'm not gonna get fat with a booty. So I start running. Within 6 months, my booty was gone.
Really?
Back to square one.
So time out.
But I realized several things through that. First, I knew God said not to do that. Like I heard the Holy Spirit say, no. I knew that. But the second thing I realized in that story, in that whole situation, I was like, insecurity is what led me to do it.
I was going to ask you that.
Like,
what was the message that you heard to tell you to get it in the first place?
The message I heard was, as a black woman, you are not enough without a booty.
Sheesh.
That is the message I heard. And it's because, listen, I worked in social media for many years, so I even know that what's posted is not the truth, but I fell for what was posted. Like, you see all these women, all these curvaceous women, and I was like, man, I'm not that.
Wow.
Here I am, successful. Yeah. Here I am, healthy. Here I am. I literally have everything I want and more than I could have imagined. Yeah. But I still don't feel like I'm enough. So here I am, literally at the top of my game, and I feel like I am not enough because I don't have this booty. It's just so
married.
Yeah.
Kid.
Yes.
Enough money to buy a plane ticket and a new booty.
Listen.
And it's like something is still saying you're not enough.
Right. And God helped me to realize that as much as I had, I was insecure because I believed that my worthiness was contingent on the approval and the acceptance of people.
Yeah.
And so that's what led me to make that decision.
When is enough enough? For modern women, when is enough enough? So this woman has 2 children. She has a husband. Her husband clearly married her. I'm assuming he probably liked the way she looked when he married her. She has a thriving career, a beautiful family, her health, and that is still not enough. She also wants to have a big butt. And I really do appreciate her transparency, recognizing that she didn't have to be honest. She used this interview to really talk about some of the things that modern women struggle with, things that modern women are thinking about, the pressures of being a modern woman, and not only the pressures put on by society, the pressures perhaps that women feel from men, but most importantly, the pressures that women put on themselves, the pressures that we put on ourselves, and the pressures that we put on other women to look a certain way. This also raises the question that I've been asking for some time now about Black women, the Bible, and BBLs, or BBLs in the Black church. And this is something that as time goes on is going to come up more and more. There are Black women in the Black church who have gotten this procedure done. And the bigger question is not so much Black women or any woman in the church, but as I have raised this before, church leaders. What is the role and the responsibility of a church leader? Particularly because her surgery was not a request from her husband. This is not like her husband, it sounds like it was something fueled by her. So it raises another question of, is this acceptable for her to alter her body? Given the principles of the Bible, given the principles of Christianity, knowing that as people we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and in terms of the influence that her surgery could potentially have on other women in the church, and the influence that her surgery could have on young girls. Now, of course, people may not necessarily know that she got this done. It's only because she came out and talked about it. Now people know, because as she said, her BBL disappeared, which is something that does happen. It's a very interesting topic, and it's something that I want to keep exploring, which is beauty standards, and not only beauty standards at large, but beauty standards specifically in the Black church. And again, this question of, is this acceptable? Is it acceptable for Black women in the church, particularly church leaders? Is it acceptable for them to alter their body? So let me know what you all think. I think that, again, I think there's levels to it. So, perhaps, again, if it's a discussion between the couple and, like I said, maybe a request from the husband, and if the wife is on board, I think that could potentially be one thing. But then you have to worry about, like I said, what image how are you then influencing others in the church, other women, other young girls? But if it's not a request from your husband, that is where it gets tricky, because now the question becomes, who are you trying to impress? Modern women will say, well, I just want to feel comfortable in my own skin. I just want to look good, But we all know a lot of this is tied up into women competing with other women, and perhaps women wanting attention from men outside of their husband. So that is another question that we, something to explore is, would this potentially open her up to the attention of other men? And why is any of that relative or valid if you are already married, if you already have children, if you're already happy, you're healthy? What is the value of continuing to seek more? And this is something that I'm going to be exploring, because what I'm hearing is that the modern woman is never satisfied. And so the question becomes, especially as this relates to the church and not being satisfied as a woman in the church, not being content, does that make this issue of the lack of contentment of modern women, does it make it even more of a concern for a woman in the church to not be content, and to continue to chase beauty standards and the Joneses, and of course, I understand as a modern woman myself, we all want to look beautiful. We all want to look good. If we are competing with other women, we don't want to lose. And so it's not to say that that competing is right or wrong, but it's perhaps natural. And so some of this is kind of like human nature and understandable, but because it is happening in the church, that potentially raises a bigger question and or concern about this procedure, the BBL procedure, again, in the church. So it's my take. Let me know what you all think. Like, share, and subscribe. Click the links in the description box and get to know what I do with my business, Curated Legacy LLC. Join the Black and Invisible YouTube membership and purchase my book about being an invisible Black woman on Amazon. This is Naka here to make the invisible visible, and I highlight the things that Black women, they weren't going to tell you this. And as always, stay tuned for more videos.